Looking now at values and ethics. A person's values feeds into ethics in four major ways. Firstly, how to get along with each other. Secondly, what is a good life? Third, what are our obligations towards each other? And finally, what are my rights? If ethics is about behavior, then values are about what you believe to be important. It's what you would like to see more of by means of more ethical behavior. So, for example, in Western-style democracies, values are codified into so-called rights: freedom of speech, freedom of religious worship, the pursuit of happiness, and many other values are now all considered to be our birthright as human beings. We often hear the term, it's a human right to have such and such. Well, those rights are not actually genetically encoded into anybody. They are simply social values that have achieved the status of being pretty much universally agreed to be the way things should be. Values come before ethics. So the ethical standards of a society will be a reflection of these pre-existing values. And the values come from many sources. They come from family, they come from the media, from religion, from the community, from one's education and life experiences. Plus, of course, the cultural history of the society in which it is occurring. Values evolve over time. As societies evolve, so do their values. And while it's true that much of our values system is created through our childhood experience, they can nonetheless be changed through a process of conscious self-reflection and external influences. In my own life, I've observed since my childhood how many social values about things like whether or not it's all right to physically hit a child has gone from being widespread practice to being criminal behaviour in the space of a generation or two. The next thing to consider is roles and ethics. So the role that we play, or the roles, plural, that we play have a strong determining effect on our ethics and on our behaviour generally speaking. A role is simply a set of relationship responsibilities and expectations that we have adopted either voluntarily or because they've been placed upon us through circumstance. The first experience of roles for many of us is within the early environment, where as a child we had a role in relation to our parents or carers. Later on, we adopt a variety of roles by choice. We choose to get married, have children, enter an occupation or profession. We might join a faith community and attend worship. We might become a volunteer for a worthy cause, and indeed, really, any number of possible roles, and we can have them all concurrently. Each role has a set of responsibilities and expectations that go along with it, and which we really must fulfill if we're not to be disapproved of or even sanctioned or punished in some way. Roles can come into conflict with each other. For example, a member of a religious community might find a role conflict if he or she were to perform military service, for example. The obligations that go along with a role can form the basis of ethical conduct of that person. The next section will be the final section, and we'll be looking at handling ethical dilemmas.